Dela writes, my MVVs, welcome. The Great Lion allegedly threatens to release Ogunjaye in 48 hours if the staff is not found. You know, our people say when a king's shadow begins to weep, even the gods stop laughing. That is how the elders describe moment when destiny shakes the palace walls, when the crown feels heavier than gold, and when spirit begins to walk among the living. That was the atmosphere inside the palace of the Great Lion. The Great Lion of Oduduwa, for 2 days, the air had refused to rest. The scent of burnt herbs and palm oil offering lingered through the courtyard as no drum had sounded since the day the upper said the staff of divine command vanished. Every corridor now echoed with the whisper prayers and unspoken fear. The women who who swept the courtyard no longer sang. The guards who used to beat their staff proudly, as in, their drum proudly, no longer beat the drums again because of what is going on. They said this morning, the 14 Ifa priests summoned from across Yoruba land had gathered in the ancestral hall. They said this morning, 14 Ifa priests, okay? They said there were someone across Yoruba land, okay? They came barefoot, dressed in pure white wrappers, each holding their divination instrument. Some came from Ipe, Tumodu, some from Moda, Keke, others from far away, Ede and Ola, Orogun. In fact, they said they had been called not only to find the truth, but to calm the raging spirit of the palace before it is too late. So the Great Lion sat before them in silence. His eyes were dim, but burning with something no one could describe. He looked like a man sitting on the edge of war, and yet still holding himself together for the sake of his people. Around him, the chiefs sat motionless, bead clutched in their hands, waiting for the priest to speak. When the consultation began, the air changed. The sound of the cowries hitting the divination tray echoed like, distant thunder. The chanting began slowly, each voice invoking the ancestors. The Orisha and the spirit of truth. Sweat rolled down their faces even though the air was cold. For hours, they chanted, shook their opele, and spoke in codes only the initiated could understand. It's been a very serious wahala in the palace. They say when the first 4 priests, spoke, their word confused everyone. They claimed that the staff had been removed out of the palace by human hands, but hidden in a place of deep sorrow, a place connected to betrayal and lost trust. Their tone was heavy, and one of them even said that whoever finds the staff will lose something more precious than life itself. The hall grew cold at those words. But when the remaining 9 priests, finished their divination, their voices carried one message, clear and strong. They said the upper lies in a sacred groove where the Great Lion tears once fell. A groove that belonged to a royal lineage older than the current dynasty. They said it was the same groove where a king once knelt and wept for his people centuries ago when the gods tested the throne of Ife. The priest said the spirit of the palace still carries the echo of that ancient cry, and that the missing staff was now resting in the soil of those tears, guided by the same ancestral energy that once protected the throne. The word struck the Great Lion like lightning. For a long moment, he didn't move. Everyone watched him, afraid to breathe too loudly. Then he rose slowly, his expression unreadable. He turned to the elders and simply said there was no need for any further consultation. So sorry about that break. They said the Great Lion turned to the elders and said there was no need for that consultation. He thanked the priests for their effort, but announced that by the following evening, exactly 40 hours after the staff disappeared, he would release Ogunjaye to search for it. Hey, they said the moment those words left his mouth, the entire palace froze. Some of the chiefs gasped openly. Others dropped their heads and began to whisper silent prayers. Even the priests went pale. Everyone knew what the release of Ogunjaye meant. The last time the Great Lion had called upon the ancient spirit of vengeance. The whole of Ife trembled for 7 nights. Fires, as in, they were seeing things all over the place, especially those evil ones. And they in fact, Ogunjaye is one of those things that they fear so much in Ile, they don't even want to hear it. The news spread quickly. By evening, the entire city, they found out that the Great Lion had decided to release Ogunjaye. The streets were quiet. Market closed early. And even the beds near the palace wall grew silent. Old women sat by their doorstep whispering. The lion will roar again. Some cried softly. Others shook their head. They all remembered the tales. Ogunjaye is not just a spirit. It's a spirit that when the spirit comes, the spirit comes. They said inside the palace, preparations began quickly. Sacred drums were brought out of the inner chamber. Incense, was prepared. The palace priest began fasting. The guard doubled at the gates, and even the wives of the palace avoided the inner courtyard. They said it's been a great, as in so much. Ebony was seen crying so much that what is this? But the reason why Ebony is crying, at this point, people say she may not even know what is going on. A lot of people think that she may not know. Others feel like she knows exactly what is going on. What if she doesn't know? Okay, there's even a possibility that she does not know, because it does seem as if her own lineage, Ile Orokita, they are more desperate than herself. Sorry, that is what this is looking like. It looks like they are more desperate than herself. So what if Ebony doesn't know? There is a possibility Ebony may not even know what is going on. So what if she does not know? They said the Great Lion hardly spoke. That since this thing has been happening, he's been quiet. He has eaten nothing. He's sitting alone in his chamber, staring at the spot where the staff used to stand, as if expecting it to appear again. Memories of his coronation flashed before him. The moment he lifted the opase, the chant of the crowd, the sacred oath he took to protect Ife's spiritual heritage. That staff is not just an emblem, it's his voice. It's linked to Duduwa and the very authority by which he ruled. Without it, he feels like, everywhere has gone silent, and everywhere has gone cold. They said the problem that is in the palace right now is bigger than in fact, I don't even understand. As you're trying to solve one, there's another one. As you're trying to solve that one, there is another one and another one and another one. Haba, what is it? Why is it that people just think that the Great Lion does not deserve to have rest? All of this, just because they do not want the jewel back in the palace. Just because they feel like by the time the jewel returns back to the palace, their own life will be over. Just because they feel like the jewel will come with her prayer, her kabashing again and ruin everything for them. That is why they will continue to fight. But God is bigger than all of them. I'll bring you more updates. Do not forget that these are all alleged, rumoured, unverified information making the rounds on social media and should not be seen as fact.